Hi, I'm Chad, and this is Diegesis. There was a time not long ago when mainstream writers mostly wrote one-dimensional villains.
Well, I don't like to feel good. I like to feel evil. Oh.
Often the only thing we knew about the villain was that they were evil. Their goals would alternate between destroying or ruling the world. And personally, I think this can be fine if well executed. Take for instance Harry Waters, the antagonist in the 2008 film In Bruges.
Harry,
What?
it's an inanimate fucking object.
You're an inanimate fucking object!
Harry is an extremely one-dimensional villain, but that one dimension gives us more than enough to work with. The draconian and impossible to uphold standard he expects others to live by, he lives by himself.
Ken, if I had killed a little kid, accidentally or otherwise, I wouldn't have thought twice. I'd have killed myself on the fucking spot. On the fucking spot. I'd have stuck the gun in my mouth on the fucking spot.
And ultimately is his undoing.
You've got to stick to your principles.
But we see these types of villains less and less in current days, as the anti-hero is taken over as the primary cinematic villain. Modern villains are flawed but complex, layered and more sympathetic than their predecessors. So to delve into my favorite villain archetype, I'll open with a quote. There are only 3 types of citizenship: hero, villain, nobody. The tragic, relatable villain. Now first I want to explain what this archetype is not. Daniel Plainview is a great example of an anti-hero who we still root for. The filmmakers have given him to us as the protagonist, so even though he's a dreadful man, we latch on to him all the same. But what disqualifies him from my tragic, relatable villain archetype is that he was evil before the film begins. We aren't watching a nobody who's downtrodden and brings himself high from a low position. We're watching a megalomaniac exercise his will. In contrast, the way to create a tragic, relatable villain is to take a regular person and push them to the brink. This person finds himself in an extremely unfair and difficult situation, and society has deemed them a nobody and would really ultimately appreciate if they would get on with dying already. So unfortunately, this person has no pathway to victory with the rules presented to them, and the hero is not going to save them. The hero doesn't even know they exist. For some examples, I'm going to talk about Love from Blade Runner 2049, Andrew from Chronicle, and Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal of the Joker. Love is a subhuman race in the Blade Runner universe, and the film makes it a point to show us that Love is vulnerable and insecure. She wants the man who created her to value her as a person, but Wallace sees the replicants he created as mere tools.
Every leap of civilization was built off the back of a disposable workforce. We lost our stomach for slaves, unless engineered. But I can only make so many.
Any praise he gives the replicants, he gives them as a whole rather than individually, and as a backdoor way to congratulate himself. So Love does more and more dastardly deeds in the effort to prove that she has worth.
You tiny thing.
When she delivers the "I'm the best one" line, a part of you says, I knew it. You could always secretly tell that being the best replicant was very important to her even as far back as...
He named you. Must be special.
I'm here for Mr. Wallace. Follow me.
Now Andrew has to juggle the alienation he feels at school with the alienation he's suffering from at home, with a sick mother and an abusive father. Everyone around him can only offer sympathies devoid of solutions, and so when Andrew stumbles upon superpowers, it's no surprise how he decides to proceed with them.
Your mother is dead, and it is your fault!
The Joker is a failing stand-up comedian.
When I was a little boy and told people I was going to be a comedian, everyone laughed at me. Well, no one's laughing now.
You can say that again, pal.
Someone he cares about is dependent on him, and everyone in Gotham treats him like a pariah.
Please stop bothering my kid.
Sorry.
So all 3 of our nobodies needed just a little more compassion. Our nobody is given the choice to live a life of endless suffering, die, or save themselves. At this point, they choose to take a line of action outside the current system of rules. If the game is rigged against you, then cheat. With no one to help them, they commit an act that brings them into villainous territory and are now officially put on the hero's radar.
I do hope you're satisfied with our product. I love you.
So maybe that's why this type of villain has grown in popularity, because for many people these feelings are quite relatable. Often they feel like allegories for the everyman who makes a decision we all secretly think about making ourselves. When the villain needed the hero didn't come. So the villain chose to save themselves. And then the hero comes. Too late to end them.